Hi, I'm Jeff, and this is a 1986 Toyota Extra-cab pickup. It's a SR5 Deluxe. Little sunroof up top, 5-speed manual, 4x4 manual locking hubs. I picked this up from a neighbor about 3-4 months ago. Been doing a little bit of work on it. It's got about 173,000 miles on it, and it's in really good shape for a pickup because most of them are all rusted out, and this one had very little bit of rust. But first thing I did was change the air filter and take the mouse nest out of it because it hadn't really been driven for a couple years. Put some plugs in it, change the oil. It starts up real nice. It needs a timing chain. I'll probably do that soon and do the oil pump at the same time. Notorious for that. I don't think it's ever had a timing chain, but this one's not slacking or slapping, but it'll definitely take the worry out of it. These are rock solid RE 22 RE engines, 2.4 liter, about 118 horsepower. Not a rocket ship, but they're tough. This came with some nice Laufin AT tires on it. I just replaced the spare, which was an original 38-year-old Bridgestone Desert Dueler, and that was pretty funny because it was pretty dry rotted out, and the tire store got a hoot out of it. I put a new set of shocks on it, Bilstein, because the shocks had no dampening at all. Put new bushings and the leaf springs in the rear, as well as the sway bar up front, because all those rubber bushings are pretty rotted out, so there's no more creaks, and it drives nice on the washboards around here. So that's a majority of what I've done. Cosmetically, it's got an original Duralast Duraliner from 38 years ago. And all I did was fix a few rotted out holes with it with some gray Flex Seal that I just smeared on while wearing rubber gloves. So the front of this, I just smeared it up, sealed it up. When I took the bed liner off inside, the bed's actually in really good shape. So basically, to get this truck to run, I just had to put a new battery in it because the other one had been unused for probably a good solid year and it was pretty old to begin with. But this is a 38-year-old dirt. I've never cleaned this engine bay. I don't know if the previous owner did or not. It's the EFI fuel-injected model. It also is an 86, so it's got the independent front suspension, which gives it a nice smoother ride. I put an air filter in it, had mouse nest beginning in that. Otherwise, a little bit of power steering fluid. The oil levels were good. All the other fluids were good. Probably do a brake fluid change because that stuff's pretty dark. Just haven't gotten to it yet, but it's clean. And so looking forward to a timing chain change, which I don't think will be too bad. It's got lots of room for big fat hands like mine to work on it, and I think it'll probably be done in a day when I get around to it. I've been busy using it as a work truck, but it's a great solid machine. These engines are good for anywhere from 300 to 500,000 miles. There's some folks that have over 1 million on them, which is pretty impressive. So that they're just a robust super truck. And this one, basically I haven't done much to it, just a little bit of surface rust paint, and that's it from an engine perspective. Started. I'll replace the distributor cap and rotor when I do, and adjust the valves too when I do the timing change. I'm not sure when that was done. But otherwise, it runs nice. What's really common with the 1980s Toyota pickup is bed rust, and it's all along the joints where the different panels are all welded together. So you can see I've got some really crude Bondo here covered up by a quick paint job, and I'll do some final filling and sanding on that. But I had a nice hole here about that big, little hole there, little baby hole there, another one here, and that was just a quick slop job, but it wasn't hard to get down to bare metal and put a few layers of fiberglass. Didn't think it was worth having to cut out sheet metal and deal with that. But the other side was even
smaller holes, maybe the size of a quarter in 2 spots, but that's not bad at all. And a little bit of rust on the tailgate. That right now it just has some spray paint on it, just Rust-Oleum to stop it from rusting. And same thing on the hinges. You might be wondering, what's this crazy thing? So I can lock this to the mount. This is a homemade workbench. I do a lot of chainsaw work, so I've got a vise that I mounted on some old cut-up 4x12s that I pounded together. So I can put my chainsaw in here. Got a little pounding area, but there's a strip on the bottom that sits in the tailgate and just keeps it from moving around when I want to do a little bit of work. It's kind of handy. Also, sits in there nice, and it's lockable. This is actually a really nice thing from Harbor Freight. It's a triple folding ramp. It's got an old Yamaha 400 Kodiak, about a 2002. It fits right in the bed, and I can actually drive it right up, no worries. And park the front tires against the front. The back tires just touch the tailgate, so it doesn't rock and roll around at all. And I use that for moving rocks and other hauling and stuff for people up here. But it's super slick. But all in all, it's in really good shape. Tail lights are original. The hidden hitch was actually a gift from an old friend off his 85 that he had to junk after 230 or 280,000 miles. So we took the hidden hitch off his 85 Toyota, and I just traded in some work moving giant granite boulders and got myself a nice hitch. So I've got a drop, 8-inch drop ball. I get my wood chipper and take that out on a job, and otherwise I just use the step to get in and out. But it's a nice solid truck. Tailgate latch was sticky, rusty. Just took about 10 minutes to take the tailgate apart, lube that up, and get the latches working. But otherwise, the truck was totally drivable when I got it, and it runs nice, works great, and I'm looking forward to winter. Okay, so inside it's good old Toyota gray. The seats were in really good shape. The interior is really good shape. Just really needed a vacuum. There was a tiny little 4-inch rip right here where you get in and out. I put a good little foam over the spot, stitched the fabric together, and then got these covers to put over it. But all in all, it's super clean. Power windows, power door locks. It's got the sunroof. It's even the original cassette radio that works. Power antenna still goes up and down. All the lights and everything on the dash, they work great as well. And some new floor mats, because the original carpet ones were pretty shot. So I guess the most worn out part on the whole car was the driver's floor mat, if you can believe that. One of the things I also fixed was the weather strip that goes around the window seal was missing about 12 inches right by the driver's ear. So I got a nice continuous piece of this felt weather lining, took the door off, and ran that around so the window goes up and down nice and smooth now. Found a little bit of wasp nest inside the passenger door because a little chunk of the weather stripping up here was missing. Also found a wasp nest behind one of the bed panels in the back, in the tailgate as well. They were both about yay big and not inhabited, so it didn't get stung. But all in all, the inside's is clean, tidy, works great. It's got a transfer case, 4 high-low and 2 high. I changed all the fluids in the front diff, which was pretty dirty, but not too bad. The gearbox was actually pretty clean, and the gearbox on these, you want to use the old GL4 type transmission fluid on the diffs, front and rear diffs, and the transfer case you can use the GL5. But I guess the older transmissions with their brass synchros like the GL4 fluid, which is hard to find in the store, so I ordered Redline online and use that. It shifts nice, doesn't grind in anything, goes in and out of 4 high, 4 low, 2 high, much better now with all new fluids. Okay, so this car or truck doesn't have AC, it's just got fans. So in the hot weather we've had this summer, it's been nice to turn the blower on full blast. First couple times I got a face full of pine needles coming out of the blower vents, and slowly picked them away and sucked them up with a vacuum and or a hemostat. But on these trucks, they're pre-cabin filter days. And the reason you get all the needles and leaves and stuff is because up here on the windshield cowl, just basically wide open slats. We'll put the hood down. So wide open slats. And what I did is took the 3 screws that hold the cowl out and the 2 clips, popped the cowl out, and I had a piece of, I'll call it, I don't know, gutter filter or whatever you want to call it, and just cut a couple pieces of gutter filter and put some RV sealant on the bottom to hold it in place, and then 6 wire ties. So now I've got a leaf and pine needle screen and won't have to be worried about getting pine needles blowing out through the vents anymore. So one of the bonuses of this truck is the extra cab, which gives you a good solid foot of space behind the seats. Comes with a shelf, got a fire extinguisher under one end, the jack, the tools, and underneath this side, as well as a shovel. Just because with chainsaw work around here, you're kind of required to have a shovel and a fire extinguisher due to the fire danger. But it's real bonus. I've got jumper cables, tow ropes, some other things in this bag, and it's just excellent to have extra, space for going to the store. I probably will not put a bed liner on this. I don't see any need for it. And I'm always working on people's snow blowers and lawnmowers and other stuff on here, do small engine work. So it's nice to be able to go pick stuff up. The ramp is great. I've hauled, 200-pound compressors up and down it, lawnmowers, 400-pound snow blowers and stuff. Just walk right up the ramp into the bed, and it's just really useful truck for me, and looking forward to having it for many, many, many years, and maybe passing it down to a grandson.